Hey, listen up. We got another episode of Kracks, featuring the crack man himself, Bill Krackenberger, and our co-host, John Orlando, straight from Las Vegas. Kracks is your ticket inside the world of sports betting, with tips, picks, special guests, and more. Only on WSN.com.
Welcome back to Kracks, episode 101. Bill Krackenberger, there's 101 Dalmatians, and now there's 101 Kracks. What do you think of this show number 101?
Hey, pretty good. That was a good little relevancy there, John. All right.
You like that? I'm in a silly mood today.
Yeah.
We have a fun show today in honor of the World Series of Poker going on. The main event hasn't started yet, but there's all the other events that lead up to it. We've got Jeff Madsen, 2006 Player of the Year, joining us a little later, and you were familiar with Jeff Madsen.
Oh yeah, no, Jeff was a great tournament player. He was on top of the world back then. I like to know what he's been doing since then, and what's he think of the World Series in general now, 2022, compared to 2006 when he was Player of the Year. So it should be an interesting conversation. We appreciate him coming on.
Yeah. Before we get to him, though, big headlines in boxing. And, of course, the biggest name in boxing is making the headlines. And I speak of Jake Paul. It's the biggest name in boxing. It's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah. Did he – I know Tyson was on Jimmy Kimmel and said he would he actually had nice words for Jake Paul, and he said he would fight him if it's a potential. And I think Jake went back and forth a little bit. I know Jake is. We just read a tweet that he put out talking about what was it? What was the exact? Did I tell you what it was? Like he said that he may fight. Here it is. Yeah, but I just don't know if this is going to be true here. He's still talking about other fights in the works for him. He's really not talking. I just Googling his name with the fight, and he's really not talking about fighting Tyson right now. So he's talking about fighting some other people right now. So I find that kind of interesting that which let's face it, I think he has the bigger mouth, right? He's not talking about fighting Tyson, and Tyson on a show talking about him trying to fight. So listen, this is the kind of a fight that will generate, I don't know. I read on like some Daily Mirror site or something that's 300 million. I don't know if it's that kind of money, but
I think it would.
Really? God,
I mean,
I think it would.
Jake
would be
has such a
fight.
Between Jake and his brother Logan, just combined following on Instagram is well over 100 million. That's a lot of people,
okay.
And then Mike Tyson, I think this might be the biggest fight of all time, but I'm going to go on the record and say it's never going to happen. There is no chance Jake Paul is that crazy that he's going to fight Mike Tyson.
I am with you.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you, John, we haven't talked about this. If that fight does happen, what do you think the odds will be? Give me what you think. I know what I think.
Oh, wow. Jake Paul has to be like a 6 or 7 to 1 dog, right?
Very good. Perfect.
Yeah?
I don't have to say no more.
Really?
Yep.
And Tyson's like minus 900.
I was saying Tyson was going to be about 7 to 1, 8 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised because of all the Jake Paul fans out there. Don't be surprised if Jake Paul doesn't take money. So those little $50, $30, $50 bets, they add up to so much. It's kind of like when Tyson fought your guy McGregor there. It's the same kind of a thing. He has such a fan base that the bookmakers actually needed. They needed Floyd to win. So
let me ask you this: is it possible that Jake opens up a big underdog, but then bets come in and he actually ends up the favorite? Is that possible? No way, right? No way.
No.
Okay.
Listen, I know ex-boxers that literally are older than Mike, and if they still hit you with a punch, you're going down, and you might be going down permanent.
Right. It's what they say. The knockout punch is the last thing to go, right? Your eyes go, your legs go, but the punch. I don't think this fight ever happens. I mean, the only way I could see Jake Paul doing this would be as if if he's okay with finally getting a loss, right? Like, but marketing wise, like, okay, I'm going to get a loss, but this will be the biggest fight and the biggest payday of my life. Then maybe, I don't see it.
He's still like trying to fight. What was that? Fury's brother, or
right?
Tyson Fury. So it's interesting you say that, and I would tend to agree with you. I don't think it goes down, but then again, this will be retirement money for Mike and money for his generations of his family if he can make that type of money. Because I'm sure he'll make a $50 million payday.
Now let me ask you this: if it does happen, are we going?
I'm betting Tyson, that's for sure.
We would go to that, wouldn't we? I mean, it's such a spectacle. I think we'd have to go to that, right?
It's funny. I like going to fights. I'll go to one of like the luxury boxes. I have a good connection here in town. You've been in that box with me, a couple times. I'll go there for that. I just actually text our buddy there. I said, listen, I don't really ask for a lot of things. I said, but here, I need 2 Raiders games and Motley Crue Def Leppard concert. So I had to tell them some of the things. You got to get them ahead of time because they will, sell out. So
right.
like this type of a fight, I think will be, you have to, get your position right away because I'm sure it will be a sellout. They just announced Canelo and Triple G. I'm sure that'll be a big draw also.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I actually like watching boxing from home, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I like hearing what the announcers have to say.
And you're seeing everything. You can grade on your own, and
right.
And it's a lot of, but the atmosphere of being there is also a fun thing.
Yeah, because when you're at the fight, as crazy as it sounds, you don't really get to see the fight, right? I mean, you do, but
Absolutely.
You don't. Yeah.
Unless if you're sitting in one of the boxes, you could, I guess, but
right.
If you're sitting in a row and you're back far,
right? You're either ringside or in a box, and you can see the fight. Yeah. Otherwise, you're just there, right?
Yeah.
You watch it on TV when you're getting neck pain. Yeah. Okay. Big topic number 2: Rob Gronkowski has retired again. Do you think this time it sticks?
He makes a lot of money off the field. I'm sure he has a good head on his shoulders, so I'm sure he's got a lot of money also. So, I think he's done.
Okay. Yeah, I tend to agree. If he is going to come out of retirement again, I think it's Brady's the only guy that's going to make that happen, as he did before. All right, moving on to big topic 3. This, to me, I'm fascinated. It's just crazy how I never cared about golf, and now I don't want to say I'm getting obsessed with golf, but I really like this storyline of the LIV Tour. Is that what we're calling it? The Live Tour, the LIV Tour, whatever you want to call it. The LIV Tour. Okay.
LIV.
So a lot of the players struggled at the Open, especially Phil. Phil was like 11 over.
Yeah. A lot of the players from the LIV Tour struggled at the U.S. Open. You're absolutely right. A couple made the cut. DeChambeau made the cut. I know that there was another one guy that made the cut. There was Patrick Reed. He made the cut, made a couple bucks. But with the LIV Tour, they would have made a minimum of $120,000. That's the big difference, and the reason why a lot of the pros are stepping over to the LIV Tour. And now we have Koepka has just joined the tour also. So they have taken some top names away. Koepka was on a major roll there for a while, winning some majors. So this is an easier tour to keep your name, out there and relevant in society too. There's only 48 players. At least there was the first tournament. So, and the 48th guy gets 120,000. The first guy, as we know, made 4.75 million. This is life-changing money for these guys. They sign a signing bonus and big names like these guys. They're all major winners. The LIV Tour is here, at least for this year. So we'll see what happens. And the PGA Tour and the PGA guys are really upset. But you know what? I am at the point now where, you have to make the money, the choices you make for your family and your future. So I fully understand what these golfers have made this decision to. Most of them have to, it's only, I think it's 14 events. They're going to be with their families now. They are going to make more money.
Yeah.
It's more time for other things off the course. So I understand.
Yeah, I love it. Do you think it's here to stay? I do.
Yeah. I think more and more people will join the tour when they're invited because they're getting the signing bonus and it's easier chance to make money. I just want to know about it being televised. It's not really talked about. We want to watch it. So
right.
If it's not televised, it's not going to be of interest to a lot of fans if they don't get to watch it.
Do you think it's going to end up putting so much pressure on the PGA that they have to change their like business model and start paying golfers more?
Listen, ever since Tiger came along, they're paying golfers more. So, you got last week, the winner made $3.2 million, Fitzpatrick. Never mind the money he's going to make off the course. The second place guy made like almost $2 million. So there's plenty of money on the PGA Tour. It's just more competition, harder to get in. There's a cut. If you don't make the cut, you don't make anything. So you lose your travel expenses, your money. You don't make anything. So it's this is a total different type of tour. But the PGA is here to stay. They literally get the money from the sponsors for the tournament. Though I learned a lot of things about this after this competition came along. PGA is making a ton of money, a ton. So no one's putting a little collection cup out there for them. That's for sure.
Okay, moving on. So Golden State won it all, won the NBA championship for like the 30th time in 4 years or whatever it is. I saw a fun little video on Instagram that I don't know if you saw. I wanted to play it for you. I think George is
play it.
Pull it up right here.
That's fun.
Morning, guys.
We got this. What the f*** can we do, bro? We just walked right through security into the stadium, man. Look at this. Look at this. We could just go into the locker room if we wanted to.
Isn't that crazy? Posing to be Klay Thompson. The guards see Klay Thompson 80 times a year, or whatever, 40 times a year at home. He's on the court making shots, too. The guy's got a shot.
He's airball layup. Let's get out.
Unbelievable, right? But believable.
It is, but it isn't. It's sadly, it isn't. Listen, you have to have a bravado or the balls, and just act as if you wouldn't believe how many times in society you can get over acting as if. And I don't mean to get over to scam somebody or something. I'm talking about walking in an event. One of my guys one time didn't have a ticket. We were going to a Floyd Mayweather fight, and I'm like, listen, Anthony, you have to just walk with us as a group of us. See if you can get in. I have a laminate. And see if you can get in and just walk in with us through the back. Like we're all walking in through the ESPN back way. Yeah. And he got right in and watched the whole fight. And he had nothing on him at all. And no one even checked him. So just act as if with that, that bravado, like I said, and in life, that helps kids in life. I recommend that always for kids too.
Yeah.
Not sneaking into games, but just talking with confidence and act as if in life and for positions in life and job experience and your future resume, anything. So it's interesting.
I'll tell you a funny story. In either, I think it was 2004 or 2005, I was in LA and it was Grammy night, and Stuff Magazine was throwing an after party, and it was hosted by Pamela Anderson and Kid Rock. And I really wanted to go to this party, but it was tough to get into. I showed up in a suit with a clipboard. I swear on my life, this is a true story, Bill. A suit and a clipboard. I showed up to the event a little early. I got on the other side of the rope because I had the clipboard. I just undid the thing, and I worked the party and invited friends. I swear to you, my buddy Gio will tell you this is true. And I worked out front as if I was an employee, and it got to the point where I sold it so well, people that were working also at the event would come up to me and say, "Hey, can we get these two in? Can we get these guys in?" I'll get to them in a minute. True story.
It's pretty. Yeah, I mean, sure. I think just what I'm saying. And
yeah, a clipboard and a Sharpie. That's all you need.
Yeah, and looking sharp. So I'm not saying that just for people to sneak into events. I don't want to. We're not recommending you do that, by the way.
Yeah,
just talking
don't do
in general.
Don't try this at home, folks.
No, we recommend things that we're talking about things that just happen and stuff in life. So we don't want anyone to get the wrong idea here.
Yeah.
It's something that, if it's harmless in the end, what's the worst you could do? Get thrown out? I mean, You're not doing nothing. But let me just tell you something, John. Here in Vegas, I just think, and I hope I'm wrong, knock on wood, that there could be something bad happening here again, because, you're dealing with hotel employees and they're busy, and it's busier than ever in Las Vegas. I just hope nothing bad happens here. We had a shooting downtown last week, which of course the press is going to hide. A lot of people that are watching won't even know that two people got shot right downtown out in front of the Golden Nugget.
Yeah.
And one got taken to the they both got taken to the hospital. So there was a fight and a shooting downtown. I mean, I'm just hoping that nothing like that happens again, or we had a terrible shooting here years ago, where literally the employees of the hotel carried the guns up to the room. It's scary stuff, and I hope we're more aware, because it's much busier now than it was then. It's so packed here. I went to dinner with one of the executives from one of the casinos last week. He said he's never seen this in his 39 years. By the way, he's been in town. He's worked for casinos 39 years. He's about 65, and he said to me, there were 99% occupancy for the whole entire month of June. He said usually June, because of graduations and kids getting out of school, it's never this busy. It's 60, 70%. June's a slow month.
Absolutely.
And this town, everyone's spending their money now. I went to a couple restaurants and talked to some owners, and they're telling me that it's amazing the business they have now post-COVID. Even though there is COVID out there, but the COVID shutdowns. So the town's rocking again. Industry's rocking. I don't know if people could charge on their credit card, or they still have their little I shouldn't say little, their money that they made during the pandemic. Because let me just tell you something. A lot of people made more money than they were making at their jobs during the pandemic. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, moving on. UFC, my favorite thing to talk about. Calvin Kattar, I don't know if you saw the fight last week. He lost a split decision to Josh Emmett. I agree with Calvin. I think Calvin won that fight. It was definitely close. But it brings up the question, it seems to be there's been a lot of close fights this year more than ever, particularly in the UFC. Do we need to do something with the judges? Do we need to add more judges, maybe move to 5 judges instead of 3? Do you think that would make a difference, or is it...
What does Dana say, John? What does Dana White say about that? I know he was upset a couple times.
Yeah, he definitely... I don't know if he knows the answer also, but he definitely thinks that the judges need to get more... knowledgeable when it comes to MMA. A lot of them are boxing judges. Like the one that comes to mind is this woman, Adelaide Bird. Always on the wrong side of almost every decision, even in boxing too, right? It's like
she had a school where she taught boxing judging, and it's unbelievable. Her and her husband Robert Bird, which he was okay, but she was absolutely terrible, and there was so many fights where she had so much controversy around her, and it just all I can tell you is I'll give you Don King's quote: "Only in America, baby."
Very good.
There you go.
There it is. Some insight from Bill. Speaking of insight from Bill, what are your thoughts on the smaller professional leagues and smaller market games like the USFL? Is there any edge in betting those games, or like arena football or WNBA? What are your thoughts?
Years ago, USFL was beatable, and I know the syndicates tried to beat it again this year, and they were unsuccessful. So it's a tougher sport to gauge. There's not a lot of information out there. Usually a lot of information out there makes things tougher to beat, but there's really nothing on the USFL, and these guys have tried to beat it again unsuccessfully. I think this is a couple of years now. However, WNBA is definitely beatable. It may have even been one of the strongest events at one time to beat. But yeah, it's beatable. Smaller market sports, smaller market things like that. Sure, they come along every once in a while, and they're like this week we have the draft. So we have the NBA draft. That's only once a year, and now they offer betting on that. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at some of the outs, some of the places like DraftKings and FanDuel. They still have lots of odds on this. It's going to be Thursday here in Vegas. There's one sports book that I seen had at the Westgate. I actually ran over there because on Monday they had one of the guys 16-1.
Wow.
Banchero, who now is down to literally 2.5 to 1. So I got some really good odds.
Wow.
On Banchero. Yeah.
You got him at 16 to 1, and now he's 2.5 to 1?
Yeah. I got him at 16 to 1, and he is, he's 2.5 to 1.
Now, does the line, like, I have been with you, and you'll tell me, look, I'm going to bet, like if it's football season, look, I'm going to bet the Falcons over in the Falcons game or something. And you'll tell me, watch, the line's going to move when I make this bet. Is it the same like for something like that? If you bet a player on the draft, does the line move when you bet as well?
Well, this particular guy, there was talks and rumors. If you would Google his name, there were some mock drafts out there, and some of them were saying that this guy from Duke may be the best out of the top 3. So automatically he shouldn't be 16 to 1. And I'm really happy, and thank you to the guys. I seen Jay when I was walking out. Thank you to Jay for letting me even bet. I asked for 2,000 on him, and he gave me 1,200. So it was very, very nice of him to give me $1,200 on Banchero at 16 to 1. I was a little surprised they put him up 16 to 1. A lot of the other sports books already were taking action on him. He was 8 to 1 at Caesars at the time, and 16 to 1 was really, really good odds. And I actually found 12 to 1 at DraftKings. I've been back and forth to the border in Arizona so many times to be able to bet DraftKings. I'm a little punchy. I am even now. Yesterday I went twice. I drove there in the morning, came back, drove there again at night, and came back.
How long of a drive is it?
Nighttime was about 45 minutes. Daytime's about an hour. It's not a big deal, but I've had a lot of people in town, and I've had people pulling on me every way to do things, and it's been a time. I'm leaving. Good. I am leaving town for a bit, so I'm happy. I'm leaving on the weekend and get out of this Vegas heat. It was really, by the way, I don't know if people around the country don't realize this. We set records here 2 different days. We had 110, 111 degree days about a week ago. It was so hot.
Yeah.
We just broke records. It's not usually that hot actually it was the beginning of June. So August we'll get up to 120 a couple of days. And it's a different hot though. I'd rather be here in August than 120 than be, I went to Ohio a couple summers ago. It was so hot and humid. Anywhere that's, has humidity. Florida is a great example. Oh God. August in Florida, I'll take August
brutal.
in Vegas instead.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, super excited in honor of the WSOP being in full swing. Of course, we have to have a poker pro on, and today we are joined by the 2006 Player of the Year, Mr. Jeff Madsen, joining us on Kracks.
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, guys. What's up, John?
How are you?
And what's up, everybody? Good to be here, man. I just saw you a couple days ago at the World Series walking off from...
Yes.
from some disappointing loss, I think.
They all are for me. I don't make it to the cashing line like you do. Over 100. You got like over 100 cashes. You are a cash. Bill, if you're ever going to back a poker player, I don't even know if Madsen is backable. I don't even know if he takes the action, but I'm telling you, Bill, this is the guy that Bill Krackenberger needs to get behind because he's got, I think going into this WSOP, 109 cashes. And I want to say last week you came in third. You almost took it down. But you came in third, but you're still respectable.
I came in third in the 1500 stud high-low, very close. I think that's one of my best games. It's just sort of like I won't say an old man game, but like a lot of the stud games are, the average age of the field is higher and less young guys play the mixed games. So I've played those for a long time. So that's kind of my bread and butter.
Really?
Less variance because you're really playing a limit game and you can really take advantage of some spots, but yeah, good run so far.
Cool. And that's a great question you said, John. You brought up about backing. Now, I noticed this year I've seen on Twitter, they have these sites where you can actually take pieces of players and back them. And the players are welcome to that because there's a markup, which means that you're probably playing for free. You'll maybe explain that to us, Jeff. And are you part of that? Part of that group, or no? You put yourself in. How does that work for you?
Well, I mostly, I'll have a piece of myself, but like most pro players, you're selling action, especially for these big packages like World Series where it's like 80, 90 bullets, right? But yeah, I currently don't sell on like State Kings or those, but I think they're very good opportunities for like, the average person to just get a little sweat of big time players. But yeah, when you're selling action, you're generally selling at markup, right? And some of those sites, the markup might be a little higher than if like me personally, I'm just selling pieces to my friends and like, close backers and stuff like that. But those sites are great. You can buy like, 1% of Helmuth or something in a big tournament. But yeah, you will be hit with some markup. So you want to make sure you find the site that's kind of not charging the customers as much. But I think, State Kings and like maybe one or two others are pretty good. But I just sell it personally, my personal percents to friends.
So like for a main event, let's say, like I know that there's so much value in that because supposedly there's quote so much dead money. So like if you were to sell someone like 10%, would you sell them that for like 13%? Is that the way it works?
Right. Like, so for really, I mean, the better the tournament, like the weaker the field or whatever it is, like the value at the top, you're going to sell at a higher markup, right? So something like the 10K main event coming up, the World Series, you'll see people selling for like up to 2.0, right? Or 1.9, as we say. Like say, like say it's a 10K main event, 10% is normally 1,000. If the markup is like 1.5, right, that 10% is going to be $1,500. So, I mostly sell for everything around 1.2, 1.3, but like, yeah, for the main event, if I was going to do a one-off deal with someone, it's going to be at least 1.5 to 1.6. So just depends on the event, but most players shouldn't be selling any events over like 1.2, 1.3 at the most. If you're going higher than that, you're really saying I have such a huge advantage in this event, or this event is so good that you're practically playing, half, 1.5 is a huge markup. So
that's great. Listen to what he said there for the viewers and listeners. Anything over 1.2, 1.3 would be kind of like what's going on here in America, price gouging. So that's good to know.
A little bit.
Good to know.
If people are willing to pay for it, some of these guys are listing at pretty high markups, but is that right or not? I mean, it's hard to say if they're able to sell it and they think they're worth it, but tournaments are tough, it's high variance. So.
Yep. Gotcha. Jon.
Jeff, do you ever play in like the high roller or the super high roller? Like, do you do the $25,000 buy-ins or the $50,000 or the $100,000, or I think there's even a $250,000, right?
Not really. Just like I said, 10Ks and lower, generally like the main events, mixed games. My camera froze. Okay. Mixed games, like sometimes I'll play at 25K, I guess, but I mean, the high roller scene, it really adds up. I'm not really trying to always be playing these 30 to 50 person tough high roller fields, even though they would be fun to play all those. And obviously then your lifetime earnings goes up really fast and you get a lot more exposure in a lot of the broadcasts, but I'm not really there yet. I'm not like, it's not like a goal I need to play high rollers. I'm kind of happy playing what I am, but obviously, when I'm more of a 5 millionaire-ish or 2 to 5 millionaire, I'll probably start playing more of those.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So when you say you're not really there yet, you just mean on the being liquid enough to be able to take a shot at events at that price tag?
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, it's just like really a small group of guys that are playing these. There's a lot of swapping. It's tough players. It's a lot of selling the action. Especially even if you have a bankroll. I mean, you're going to sell at least 50, tend to sell 50% plus of like a 50K or higher, 100K. So I just don't think I kind of just like playing, all the regular events and not those high pressure, high rollers just yet. But it's just a lot more work to be selling action or just 50K a tournament. But I used to definitely play a lot more 25Ks, but right now I'm just kind of sticking to 10Ks and lower.
And again, listen to what he's saying there, guys. The tougher field now when you're talking about these big events. It's not like there's multimillionaires just sitting there want to play and put up 50. You may have a couple of them, but it's going to be a tougher field to overcome here. And he also said a word here, swapping. So if you're swapping with someone in a smaller field like that, You have to think of the actual tournament play. Put yourself in that mindset. These guys are swapping there at my table. There's a lot of things you have to think about, more than just entering an event. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. And if you, and say I was selling for like a high roller, then we'd be talking like no markup, right? Because like my edge in that field, it's pretty neutral, right? I'm not going to get away with even selling a 1.2 for a high roller. So, so you'd have to sell more, right? You're not getting the markup. So there's that as well. And, the landscape right now in high stakes poker is a little bit, there's been a couple cheating scandals, like some of the high roller situations. There are, stables that most are legit, but, some stables are doing at least a little bit here and there that's kind of taking edges away from other players unfairly. We don't have to get into the cheating stuff too much, but that's, there has been recent stuff like that going on. So, it's not really a landscape I need to just jump right into right away,
Sure.
Well, just because Crack is leaving doesn't mean you guys still can't be with him if you download the Crack Wins app. How's that for a segue, Bill? Download the Crack Wins app. It's on Apple, it's on Google Play, or just go to crackwins.com. You heard the man. I mean, he's got some knowledge. He's got some inside info for some of these games. Well, I wouldn't say inside info. You just get the but what would you call it?
But inside info is a strong word. I hate using that, but there is info out there if you just read social media and pick up little nuggets and stuff. And like we did, we sent out Banchero at I hope I'm saying his name right. Paulo.
Yeah,
Banchero.
George Carmona says yes. Shout out to George Carmona's first day on the decks today.
Paulo Banchero.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Paulo Banchero, who now is plus 275. You can see his name there.
That is amazing, man.
Plus 275. And I did luckily enough to get 12-1 at DraftKings. I sent it out to all my Crack Wins guys at 12-1. When I sent it out at DraftKings, I had 12-1. FanDuel had 18-1. So, but FanDuel takes a lot less. I had a buddy of mine try to bet them, and they were only taking like $150. But hey, you can get an 18-1 shot. That's now 2.5-1 or 3-1. I just think that it's good odds, it's good value, and I don't like to hedge, but a lot of guys maybe even talking about hedging on this kind of bet, maybe betting the other two guys. I'm probably not going to do that. I don't think they're going to take Smith. I think it's a two-way race. I honestly think it's Banchero or it's Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren is 4-1 there now, so he is another player that's really good, and I just don't think that that Orlando's team fits with the Smith. So we'll see what happens here. It should be fun, but that's the kind of stuff we give out, kind of stuff you have if you join Crack Wins. Now we're going to have the NBA Summer League coming up. Looking forward to that. Fantastic moves. We got a lot of the insight on that. Of course, there's still baseball. There's these other events, NASCAR, golf. So we have it all. Crackwins.com and the Crack Wins app.
And yeah, Bill, speaking of baseball, I think I should probably go on the record and just say that the Dodgers are not going to break the season win record. As I previously stated before the season started, I'm going to go ahead and concede that already before the All-Star break. The Dodgers are not going to break that record, Bill, but I think the Yankees are.
Yankees are on pace to win 120 games. It's amazing, really. I don't think that'll happen. I think you'll see a little bit of a revert to the mean as the season goes on. Same thing with the Mets. They're on pace to win over 100 games. It seems like they never have that closing ability at the end. They never really get there in the end. But we'll see what happens. It's a fun season if you're a New York baseball fan, and even if you're a Dodgers fan. They're still one of the great teams in baseball, if not the greatest team in baseball. This could be a little bit of a fluke with the Yankees and stuff. Their pitching has been so good that people didn't expect that. So
the Major League Baseball executives and the television executives are absolutely foaming at the mouth when the Yankees have the best record in baseball, the Mets have the second best record in baseball, and the Dodgers have the third best record in baseball.
Yeah.
That is that's what they want, right? That's the scenario they want.
Yeah, it should be great heading into the All-Star break here in about a month, less than a month.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting what happens here. We know, John, you and I, we love baseball. We love boxing.
We do.
I'm
rocking my College World Series shirt. Again, I wore it last week, but I forgot to thank them for letting me do the show from Charles Schwab Field in Omaha. So shout out to everybody at the College World Series. It was amazing.
Experience?
Yeah, I didn't get to see any games, though. I was there the day before, 2 days before the games actually started. Do you watch the College World Series? It's been going on now. The games are super exciting, but they've changed the bats. I haven't watched in a while, I guess, but I remember the old aluminum bats that ping. I miss the ping. Now they're still aluminum, but they must have changed them. They don't really ping. They almost sound like wood bats. So I miss the ping. Bring back the ping.
Yeah, no, yeah. I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about. We bet those games, and I give them out to the Crack Wins guys also. But you're right. When playing the game, just for the love of the game, I grew up on baseball. I grew up on boxing, and they're my two sports that I love. I know it's kind of boring to a lot of people, but
yeah,
I will watch the NFL now on Sundays too. I watch that with my buddies. They love coming into Vegas for that. I will watch a little bit of that, but NBA and really hockey. I did like the playoff hockey though. Still going on.
Yeah,
Colorado, Tampa. Playoff hockey's fun, but I'm just not an NBA fan. I have no interest. Even college basketball, I bet it, have a big edge on it. I have no interest in going to a game anyway. I know it's fun though. I do understand.
We are so alike.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Before we get to Jeff Madsen, let's talk a little bit about WSN. Have you been over to WSN.com for your morning briefing?
Yeah, no, I told you guys on the break, I pulled up the site again. I'm on the phone portion of it. And again, the articles there. I just sent someone to Arizona. She said to me, "Oh, is there any bonuses here where I live?" So I sent her to WSN and the Arizona portion of the site. There's so many different, when you go onto the app, this is the phone. It's not an app, this is the site. So they have 6 different sections right in the front here. Sportsbooks, payment methods, sportsbook apps, best U.S. casinos, state guides, and bonuses. The state guides and the bonuses are excellent. Click on the state guides. You can go down to your state, literally, and click on your state, wherever your state is that allows legal sports betting. And WSN has negotiated the best bonuses for you. So that's a big portion of the site. Literally, they have negotiated better bonuses than you can get just searching the site. So I find that very interesting. Articles, daily articles are published, weekly articles. Every week there's a dozen different articles on this site. There's predictions. There's also a section for MLB, just talking about baseball in general, not even predictions. For the love of the game, I'm reading this one article. There's articles on soccer. And then, of course, I like to be caught up on the U.S. sports betting news. It's one of the sections, if you go down, it'll say U.S. sports betting news. And literally, it'll talk about the Colorado Gaming Commission fines one of the world pay for operating with an expired license. These type of articles to find out what's actually going on in the industry and find out, the who's who and, who's actually going to be talking about getting sports betting, talking about California, talking about North Carolina here, Maryland, which they already have it there. The Ohio has new licenses, so there's going to be new places coming on. Now, this is also some sports betting executives say no to the New York model. So I find that pretty interesting because New York is taking 51%, I think, is in taxes. There's an article on that. I like being informed and finding out what's going on. I don't know another site that I can go on and get that much information at one shot. Jeff, do you play cash games? Do you actually go down to the Bellagio or Aria or Wynn? Do you plan to jump in any? Do you play cash games weekly or no?
Not a lot lately. I'm not really like there's some guys that are like cash game grinders every day, same game or same couple games. Not lately. I'm just kind of a tournament guy. I'll just play like a little bit of cash on like the apps. There's like poker apps now, like home games.
Sure.
But I've always kind of been a tournament guy, even though it's a little less consistent, and it's more just long-term game. Whereas cash, you can kind of, I can expect to go every day and like make a little bit every day. It's like reasonable, or like actually profit every day or most days in cash. Whereas tournaments, you could break like 20 in a row and then win one. So it's very kind of different beasts, but I just sort of like the challenge of trying to win the tournament, I guess, too.
So you'll leave Las Vegas though and travel around the tournament circuit then around the United States and maybe even international. You'll actually go around different places, not just Vegas. Good.
Yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. And then your expenses are higher, obviously, when you're a tournament player. But you get to travel. It's not just about not spending. You want to go to Europe sometimes to play poker, and with tournaments, that's the reason you go. And you might play cash games on the side when you go to Europe or Australia or something, but that's the reason you fly there, is for this like festival that the casinos put on in different places, and they're exciting. The EPTs, the European Poker Tours, are always great. A little less traveling lately since COVID, but I'm basically going to be back out there. All the tours are kind of coming back now, I guess. So
I have a question for both of you. Bill, on any given Saturday, especially like during NFL playoffs or Super Bowl, you might have 7 figures in action, right, Bill? Like with all your bets
on a weekend.
On a weekend.
I'll bet. I mean, any given weekend,
right?
For me, I'll have
and
7 figures I've had a couple times, but 6 figures every single weekend.
Right. Okay. Sure. So 6 figures every single weekend, sometimes 7. You never seem stressed out, and I know you've told me that you don't even watch the games, right? And when I've been with you in the casino when you have all that action, and you are just even keel. And then Jeff, I have run into you during World Series and stuff. Sometimes you're in a tournament, you're making a deep run. You are always the same. Your mood and your temperament is always the same. How do you guys manage the stress, or is it just not stressful? Bill, you go first, and then we'll do Jeff.
It's a business to me, Jon. I have a team of guys that I work with, and I'm the better. So that's why I will reach that 7-figure sometimes. But just for this NBA draft coming up tomorrow, I've been running back and forth to the border and stuff, and I probably won't even watch the draft, but maybe I will, because I probably bet about 40,000 on the draft already. It's a business, and I know I have a couple percent edge, and in the end, long term, I'm going to make money. Sure, I have losing weeks. I even had a couple losing months, but as you know, I literally had 8 months in a row. I had a 6 streak here this year, and I never had a losing quarter ever in 30 years. Never had obviously a losing year. I know I'm going to win a couple percent in the edge. So I know I have a giant edge over the sports books in certain events, and I know I have a smaller edge. NFL's, I always say it's very hard to beat the NFL, so I really don't even bet NFL. I bet props, I bet quarters, I bet some correlations. I'm not looking to bet on NBA sides. I've worked with the sharpest syndicates in the world. It's like unbeatable to beat it. I'm looking to steal. And let me just be honest. Steal's a strong word. I'm looking to cheat. I'm looking to bet on things that are smaller market, WNBA, things that I can have good information on. And I don't even watch the games. No, I have swings of 6 figures every weekend, and I get the results, and it's a business to me. And, I know in the end I'm going to make money. Over to Jeff.
Yeah. Similar ideas, right? Because I know I have an edge. I know in the long term I'm going to make money, because I've been doing it 16 years, but I've definitely had bad patches, and it is similar in your betting on some sort of non-guaranteed, but worth the risk kind of situation. And every time Jon sees me, maybe it's after a tournament or something, I'm pretty even keel, and you don't see a lot of emotions, but it's only stressful when you're putting yourself in a bad monetary situation, like there's going to be another tournament, but if you're putting too much money in this one tournament or risking too much, that's when it gets stressful or more emotional. So that's kind of that's fine now. But the difference, I think, is in poker, it's like there's a lot of real-time decisions. So you can make a legitimate mistake that if you had more time, or it wasn't a physical, guys staring at you, in poker, if you make that one big mistake, it's very gut-wrenching sometimes, because it can cost you so much money, because the tournament payouts are so proportional, weighted to the top, really. So Jon won't see me like when I'm upset, but like even this summer, even after an early good run, I've had a tough week or two, and emotions just come out, you know what I mean? And it's not about the money. It's just like, if I made a mistake, you know what I mean? And, with sports betting, you kind of you can look at everything, you can plan it out. It's not like you're not sitting at the table, they're not staring at you. It's a little bit less pressure, I'd say. You can kind of sort of plan things out. And in poker, you could just be a little off that day, a little emotional, and one little click of one little bet is your entire tournament. And emotionally, that's tough, but you don't really want to show it to people, or it's kind of a bad energy. Like, oh, I'm running bad, I'm feeling bad. If your table mates know that, and they know you're feeling bad about your game or you're upset, they're going to pounce on that, and you kind of manifest bad things. So I just, I've been doing it too long to really care too much. But I really hold myself to a high standard just with my game, I guess. So it's less about the money really nowadays.
Okay. Wow. Great answer. Great answer. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question about this year's World Series. I haven't been over there. No interest really. What's going on over there? What's the atmosphere? I'm hearing some rumblings on Twitter. I'm a Twitter guy. I just followed you actually, Jeff. So I'm hearing some rumblings of maybe this is the first year over at over at Bally's. This is the first year they're doing this at Bally's. Yeah. And I'm hearing some bad things there, but it could just be disgruntled poker players. Tell us, Jeff.
It could be Alan Kessler. You never know.
I love Chainsaw. I've known Alan. I've known Alan before the poker craze. I've known Alan 30 years. So.
Oh wow. Like if you're following him, you might think that like everything in poker is terrible all the time. But honestly, the energy is actually good. I think it's the first year at Bally's Paris. Honestly, it's there's a lot more room. The parking situation is actually good. Food wise is medium. I think there's better options than when you're at the Rio, but not like incredible. And the field sizes are great. So I think the energy is actually really good, and they're kind of working on it and improving it. The lines and the cashiers seem good. So despite a few things here and there, I think it's better. It's good, fresh energy from the Rio, and the Rio is kind of crumbling a little bit, and energy is kind of going down there. And then like last year, I couldn't even go, obviously, because of some mandates and stuff. And so I didn't even get to say goodbye to the Rio, I guess. I didn't get to play there the last World Series they had there. But the new energy is kind of, I think, much better. And the field sizes are good. I think the main event might be the biggest ever. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mostly good things to say. Can't complain.
Nice.
Alan Kessler over here.
Yeah, Bill, I wanted to tell you, I ended up at the same table as Jeff Madsen in a tournament not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago. So I tried it. It was early over at MGM. It's like a 10 a.m. tournament. So I wanted to get myself an edge. So I thought I'd send him a couple shots of tequila just so I could get an edge. But it didn't work, Bill. It didn't work.
Oh, wow. You didn't go for it?
Yeah.
He drank them, but it didn't hurt him.
He drank them. I thought he didn't even drink them. Wow.
No, he drank them.
If you send them over, I'll drink them. Enough alcohol makes me actually probably play not better, but calm me down. But then there's a tipping point where you might not want to get too drunk. Yeah.
Well, Jeff, thank you.
How you do that tournament? Your aces got cracked, right?
Yeah, I suck. Although Bill, I don't know if you know this. I did play with Jeff at the Gardens Casino. And there is video of me bluffing him out of a pot. He laid down his pocket queens. I had jack high, Bill.
Wow.
That's the thing with amateurs and, terrible players. You don't know what they got. You don't know where they're coming from. So what I think it was like I queens, and it came like ace, king, or ace, dude, and then he just.
Yeah, how do you play that with queens? Of course, ace, king.
Yeah. I was the superior player that day, Bill. That's all.
You actually were. I was shook. I didn't know you were capable of bluffing or what you were going.
It was a live stream, and I didn't show the bluff, and it wasn't until like Jeff watched it later, like maybe an hour after it was over, he sent me a text. He's like, "Jack 9, seriously?"
That's actually a pro move to not show and then just make me see it later. Yeah.
Yep.
That's good stuff.
But you'll get better. We got to do a little coaching.
We definitely do. Yes, I need help.
But
Jeff.
Jake has again some hours you can maybe.
Yeah, I'm stealing Ellenberger's hour. Ellenberger hired him as a coach, and then he didn't show up. What happened?
Difficulty meeting, and then. But yeah, I mean,
kids happened. That's what happened.
Still got the hours floating, so we can definitely use some.
All right.
Well, this has been real fun, man. Appreciate you coming on, Jeff, with us, and maybe you'll come on again with us after the World Series or something. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Of course. Yeah, anytime, guys. Yeah, I'll maybe after the series see how we did and a wrap-up show or something. We'll talk.
Crack and I will be on your rail when you make the main event final table.
Oh, Lord.
Absolutely.
I'll use my one time.
All right.
Final table the main one time.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thank you, man.
Thanks for being on. Thanks, Jeff.
Oh, that's good stuff. I always love talking to the poker pros, you know. Just both of you, there's so many parallels to what I think the poker players and yourself. Do you see that too, right? Like,
yeah, after you asked a great question, so it fit perfectly, and we both had good answers. And yeah, he was a great interview. I wish him continued success. Haven't seen him in a few years, and he was great though. Thanks for having him on, John. That was your connection. Good
yeah,
job.
Man. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see all of you watching next week. And Bill, I'll see you. I don't know when I'm going to see you. We need to try to do a meal before you leave town if you have time.
All right, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for being on, and we'll have a great show next week. Also, I'll be on the road though. Great.
All right. We'll see you next week on Wisecracks.